Welcome to the course tour for CAT 100, Computer Concepts and Applications. In this course, you will develop some very basic computer and internet skills. The purpose of the course tour is to give you an overview of the course layout and its navigation. Let's start with the course homepage, which provides access to two very important sets of information: the steps to get started with the course and the overall course navigation. Let's start with the steps to get started to the course. You see Start here. To get started with the course, you are asked to first read the instructor welcome letter, to view the course tour, to read the course syllabus, and to review the course schedule. Please do these things and they will prepare you for the rest of the course. After you have done those things, you can move to the first module of your course, which is the introduction module. We will come back to that later in the tour. It's very important that you read these first activities and complete this introduction module. You will be given 1 week to do so. Now, let's look at the main course navigation. If you look to the left of your page, you will see that the main course navigation has 3 sections. The first section under course menu, the second section under learning modules, and the third section under student tools. In your first section, you have a direct link to the course homepage, to the syllabus, to the course schedule. The syllabus and the course schedule are documents you will come back to repeatedly in this course, so these links give you direct access to them. There's also a direct link to something called ePortfolio checkpoints. We will discuss those in more detail in a couple of slides, so I will not go into them here. The second set of information on this navigation module are your learning modules. This course is divided into 9 learning modules: an introduction module and modules 1 through 8. All of your course content and assignments are located in the learning modules. Here is where you will navigate to actually complete the requirements for this course. And the third section on your navigation bar are student tools. The first link is to blogs. Blogs are where you will complete your ePortfolio checkpoint activities. Sometimes in your modules, you will be referred to the discussion board to have discussions. This link is a link to your discussion board. This link to your mail tube is how you will communicate with your instructor and peers in this course when you're not communicating via the discussion board. Then you have a My Grades link. Here's where you will go to see what grades you have made on your assignments and to see any assignments that I have returned to you with my comments. Then you have course links. This is just some links to, once again, your syllabus, your schedule, and the welcome letter. And then you have a link to Blackboard Help and a link to technical support. There's also a link here to a tool panel that gives you access to all the tools in Blackboard. You won't use this for this course, but you can look at it if you like. So that's it for our course homepage. On the next slide, we will go into our course modules. Okay, now let's look in a bit more detail at the course modules. If you look on the left navigation panel again, you see your modules go from your introduction module, module 1, social media and cloud computing, module 2, Microsoft Word, module 3, Microsoft Excel, module 4, online research tools, module 5, Microsoft Access, module 6, multimedia design, module 7, Microsoft PowerPoint, and module 8, web page development. We're going to do a brief overview of these modules just to give you an idea of the content. First, you have your introduction module, and this is the first module that you are required to complete for this course. This module basically gives you information about how this course will work. There's an overview section. There's a section about how to set up office hours using Blackboard IM. Then it talks about the major activities in this course. And it tells you that you can download Microsoft Office for free if you don't have it on your computer already. And it gives you instructions for how to do so. And then it talks about the experiential learning component that has been created for this course. And the experiential learning component is the development of an ePortfolio. Um, what we're going to do through this course is we're going to use some class activities and some out-of-class activities to help you develop an ePortfolio. The purpose of this ePortfolio will be for you to reflect on what you learned from doing these course assignments, and also for you to see the value outside of this course for using the skills that you develop. Next, there's a section on netiquette, how we should talk to each other and interact with each other while we're online together. Library services, they're just resources that are available to you. The Writing Center, which is another resource that's available to you. And then you have something called module activities. So let's just click on the module activities. In module activities, you have once again your welcome letter. Yes, you really do need to read it. You have a link to this course tour. You have a link to your syllabus, and you have a link to the course schedule. Now, this is the second time you've looked at this material, so I hope that you're beginning to see how important it is to this course. And then you have a discussion area. Here you're going to go to the discussion board. If you click that link, you're going to go to the discussion board, and you're going to introduce yourself. Okay? I'm going to use this link to get back to my discussion, to my introduction module. So I was under module activities. So we looked at the discussion area, and the next thing you're going to have to do is ePortfolio checkpoint 1. I'm going to click on this, but I'm not going to discuss it until the next slide when we go into detail on the ePortfolio checkpoints. Now, in order to get to ePortfolio checkpoints, you don't really select this link. You go to your navigation and you select here. And what you'll see here, we'll talk about in a little bit later. There's no need to go into it here because I repeat myself. So let's get back to your introduction module. Once you complete your introduction module, you can go to module 1. You can go to module 1 by selecting the link here or by selecting the link here. It really doesn't matter. Let's select here since this is where I am. So module 1 shows you the standard presentation of each of your modules. You will have an overview that tells you what you're going to study in this particular module. You'll have a couple of objectives that tell you what you're going to learn by completing this particular module. And then you'll have a couple of assignments. In module 1, you have 2 assignments. One is related to social media and the other is related to cloud computing. So let's look at the social media assignment. We're going to look at both assignments, though we're not going to look at all the assignments for all the modules. So if you look at the social media assignment, you have an overview section. You'll see that this is standard for all your assignments. Then you have a reading section, which basically gives you some things to read to prepare you to do the activities that are next. So there's some readings followed by a little quiz that we want you to take. And you just select this link to take the quiz. And after you take the quiz, you go to the discussion area to address some questions and to talk about your quiz results. And then after you've done that, excuse me, you go to another discussion forum where you talk about and answer a different set of questions. And after you have done those 2 discussion activities and completed that quiz, you are done with assignment 1 and you can move to assignment 2. If you look at assignment 2, once again, it begins with an overview. And in this section, instead of having readings, it has something called instructional videos. What you will see here are 4 videos on Google Drive and Google Docs, which is what this cloud computing, which is the tool that this cloud computing assignment has you to use. These are 4 very short videos that demonstrate to you how to complete the task that you are required to complete in this particular assignment. So if you already know how to use Google Drive and Google Docs, you may skip this. If you don't, you should read this. You should watch these videos. Below the instructional videos are the set of instructions, and they are pretty detailed instructions for the assignment. if you follow these instructions, and here there's a rubric, if you follow these instructions, and after you have completed your work, you open the rubric and double check, did I do everything this rubric is going to grade me on? That's how you can know. You can actually grade your work yourself, because this is the rubric that me or your instructor will use to grade your work. So those are your instructions. After you finish that assignment and complete all the instructions, you can move to the next assignment, which is the social media assignment. Oops, I'm sorry, I did that backwards. Cloud computing. Well, we're done with this particular module. Now we can move to the next module, which is module 2. And once again, you can get to module 2 from the module 1 page, or you can get there from the navigation menu. So let's just click here since we're here. Module 2 has your overview, your objectives, and 2 assignments. We're not going to look at both of these assignments. Let's just look at one. What you have is an overview, some instructional videos, a review of what a resume is and how you create a resume, some sample resumes from previous classes, and then a detailed assignment for how to do your resumes. Once again, you click here. There are the instructions again, and if you click here, there's the rubric again. So if you ever want to know how your work is going to be graded, all you have to do is look at the rubric. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we just looked at module 2, which is Microsoft Word. And in this module, you will create a resume and you will create a newsletter. We're not going to look at the newsletter assignment. The format follows the resume assignment. So let's go to module 3. In module 3, you will create 2 Excel spreadsheets. In assignment 5, you will do one activity with a spreadsheet, and in assignment 6, you will do another. Once again, you have an overview, your objectives, and your assignments. If you click on one of the assignment activities, you have your overview, you have your instructional videos, and then you have the instructions to do your assignment. Once again, these are pretty detailed instructions. If you click on the assignment, you can load it here. If you want to see the rubric, there it is there. Okay? So you can check your work at any time before you submit it. So that was module 3. Let's go to module 4. Module 4 is a little bit different in that module 4 has an overview, objectives, and 2 assignments, just like your previous one. Your first assignment is for RefWorks. So once again, you got your videos, you got your assignment with details. Your next assignment is an online survey. This is really just free points for you. If you complete this survey, be sure to put in your Crimson email address and your name. If you do that, if you complete this survey, you will get all the points. There's just no way around that. You will get full credit. So this is an easy 50 points to get added to your course grade. Okay? So that's module 4. Now module 5 is Microsoft Access. In assignment 9, you will import one of your Excel files to create a database from your Excel spreadsheet. And then in assignment 10, you will create some queries and reports. Once again, follows the same format as previous modules. In module 6, you have your overview, your objectives, but you only have one assignment. And this assignment, you have an overview, you have your readings and videos, and then you have 3 discussions that you have to participate in. Okay? From here, you can go to Module 7. Module 7 is Microsoft PowerPoint. In this module, and it only has one assignment, and it follows the same format as your other assignments. What you're going to do here is create a narrated presentation, much like this presentation that I am creating, except you're going to have a video of you somewhere on the page actually talking through your presentation. And you're going to use Office Mix for PowerPoint, which is what I am using to do this screen recording this morning. So basically follows the same format as your other assignments. And then we get to Module 8. And Module 8 is where you complete your ePortfolio checkpoint. Complete your ePortfolio. Everything that we've done in the class up to this point has been getting you to this ePortfolio. And here's where you're going to put it all together. One thing that I didn't point out, I'm going to point it out now. If you go back to Module 1, Introduction Module, and you look at the activities, you'll see that you have ePortfolio Checkpoint 1. If you go to Module 4, you see that you have ePortfolio Checkpoint 2. If you go to Module 5, you have ePortfolio Checkpoint 3. And if you go to Module 8, you have ePortfolio Checkpoint 4. On the next slide, I'm going to go into detail into not really detail. I'm going to give another broad overview of what happens at each of these checkpoints. So that's it for your modules, and your next slide will be on the checkpoints themselves. Okay, on our third and final slide, we will do a review of the ePortfolio checkpoints. The ePortfolio checkpoints will first be introduced to you in your introduction module. If you look at the activities in the introduction module, the last activity is ePortfolio checkpoint 1. When you get to this activity, you will select ePortfolio checkpoints here to get to that checkpoint. And what this page starts off with is an overview of what an ePortfolio is and what process we're going to use to develop the ePortfolio in this class. Specifically, the process is you're going to put together your ePortfolio review team. And that review team has 3 components. One set will be your peers in this class. The second set will be some doctoral students that your instructor will choose. And the third set will be a team of 3 people that you will choose yourself. And those 3 people who those 3 people should be are described in this section. After describing your ePortfolio review team, this section also gives you some notion of what we mean when we say an artifact. Your ePortfolio will contain the artifacts that you develop in this class. The artifacts that you develop are the results of the assignments that you create in this class. So here are the artifacts that you would develop in this class. From Module 1, those were the artifacts. From Module 2, those were the artifacts. From Module 3, that's the artifact. So you get an idea that these are the artifacts. And so what we're asking you to do is to reflect on each of those artifacts in terms of what skill did you develop and how useful do you find that development to be, okay? So the next thing is, so that you will have a written understanding of what ePortfolios and this self-reflection process is about. Here's a short article that goes into more detail about ePortfolio, what's an artifact, and what's a reflection. Okay, so now finally we're down to ePortfolio checkpoint 1, which is review committee. So in this checkpoint, what you'll see, you will post your responses to the blog as opposed to the discussion board. Here are the instructions for what you do at this particular checkpoint. It's spelled out, and if you click here, once again, there's your handy dandy rubric. Okay, let's go back. You have a second activity here, which is your a reflection on what you think this experiential learning experience is going to be like. Very, very short. Just be sure to hit the submit button. Okay, so if we go back to ePortfolio checkpoints, we'll see there's checkpoint 2, which is reflections. Checkpoint 2. Here you're asked to, in your blog, to reflect on some of the artifacts that you've created. Should have gone back, but that's all right. And then you have another survey. Okay. And then you got ePortfolio checkpoint 3. which is more reflections. And then you got ePortfolio checkpoint 4, which is again more reflections, and then another survey, your last survey of this course. So once again, your first ePortfolio checkpoint will be in the introduction module. Your second ePortfolio checkpoint will be in module 4. Your third ePortfolio checkpoint will be in module 5, and then your last ePortfolio checkpoint will be in module 4. So I think that's it for the ePortfolio checkpoints. If you have any questions, please contact your instructor. And this also concludes our course tour.